Welcome everyone, it's Darren. Today's video we're going to talk about date and time. And Excel has a lot of great functions that make it really easy to usually work with date and time until it isn't. And sometimes Excel date and time functions just don't accomplish what you need. And then you have to manually split up the date and time to do your calculations and then convert it back. It's not hard to do, it's just a little bit of extra work. Uh, so you may say, why are you going to need to do this? Well, let's say I need to know in a spreadsheet what is 17 months from today. You can add a number of days using Excel functions. You can't add weeks or months. Uh, you could add, you could do years and say 365, but what do you do with leap years? You see, I have a leap year up here on the screen. So you can't do 365 and a quarter days. That's not going to work well. Um, So another example would be I have oh 7,312 minutes of work I need to do before a project is done. I know I have exactly that much work time left. I'm only working 8 to 5. I have a 1 hour lunch break, two 15-minute breaks. So I have 7.5 hours a day of work. When do I finish? Uh, Excel functions let you add 6 hours or whatever to your to a current time. Excel functions don't let you add work hours. So you know sometimes you just have to break it down, manually do the work, manually do the calculations, put it back together. And like I said, it's not hard to do. Uh, so there are some simple functions that we'll use here in Excel to actually find everything. Uh, when we look at the dates and times like those we have on the screen, I know that's February 29th, 2024. You know it. Uh, but if in order to do mathematical operations on it that don't match what Excel expects, we just have to break that down. So let's jump right into the functions. Okay. First function is year. So we'll do year of A1. Told you these are simple functions. Month of A1 gives you the month. And day of A1 gives you the day. Uh, that's it doesn't get much harder than that. There is one slight additional catch here, which is that what if you want to know if it's Monday or Thursday or whatever? And there's a function for that. That's weekday of A1, and that gives you a 5. So what is 5? I usually think of days as in like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, whatever. If you don't put a second parameter on the function, your week starts on Sunday with 1. So Sunday is 1, Monday's 2, Wednesday is 3, or sorry, Tuesday is 3, Wednesday's 4. Uh, so I know that 5 is Thursday, but you can change that. There's a second parameter you can include. So I actually had no parameter on there for the second parameter. I skipped it. So it picked this option, which is Sunday through Saturday, 1 to 7. If you want to start your week on Monday, you can just add a parameter of 2, and that gives you Monday through Sunday. If you want to start with a 0, and there are some reasons for wanting to do that, you just put the parameter in of 3. Uh, so the pretty much every spreadsheet program supports this first line. Just omitting, just only using the date as the parameter, not adding a second parameter at all, and it gives you Sunday through Saturday. That one's always safe to use. The second option there, going Monday through Sunday, that got added. That's been there for quite a while. That's probably on all of your programs. It's using something really old. Um, the rest of the options are newer. Um, you may never use number 3, or you'll use it every time you run these functions, depending on what you're trying to do. 11 through 17 got added just kind of to simplify things. So you can pick any day of the week you want as your starting day with the 11 through 17. And the if you are really observant, you'll notice that option 17 is exactly like option 1, or omitting it. It's Sunday through Saturday. And option number 11 is exactly the same as option number 2. And they just added all of those in there just so they could do 11 through 17, and you can just think 11 through 17 and skip the other ones. Okay, so once you have all that information, what would you do with it? Well, you do whatever calculations you need to. You do integer division to convert seconds back into minutes and into hours, into days, weeks, whatever. Um, and then you'll reassemble it. There's If you haven't worked with integer division and modulo operations before, there's a link down in the description. You'll want to go check that out. That makes it really simple to break things down, because if you divide A4 there, 29 by 3, you're not going to get an integer. It's not going to work well for you. But with integer division and modulo operations, it's a piece of cake. So let's put the dates back together here. So the function is also really simple. It's just date, put in the year, which is A2, put in the month, which is A3, put in the day, which is A4, and that's it. And now we get our information back. Okay, what about time? Time is just as easy. So we have the functions, as you probably guessed without even looking here. This hour of B1, minute of B1, and second of B1. And to reassemble, just as easy. The function is time. You put in hour, which is B2, minute, which is B3, and second, which is B4. And our time's reassembled. Well, what if your time or date look like this? So I have both the date and the time in the same field. Well, as it happens, you do exactly the same thing. You still have, equals hour of C1, still gives you 17, equals year of C1, still get 2024. And the reason for that is that in Excel, date and time are actually stored together. So you can't have a date without a time. You can't have a time without a date. If there was never a date put in, but you have a time, the date by default is going to be January 1st of 1900. If you put in a date without a time, by default it's midnight. So the way it stores is the whole number part is the date. It's the number of days since January 1st, 1900. And the decimal part is the time. And that is a little more difficult to get to, but you don't really have to worry about how it's calculated, how it's stored. Um, so time can only store 24 hours, obviously. Uh, the date only goes back to 1900. So if you need something beyond 1900, older than 1900, it starts to get more complicated. Uh, Partly because Excel doesn't store it well that way. Partly because different places, you get back into the 1800s and you're working with more different calendars. Uh, since 1900, most of the world has kind of agreed on a common calendar. There might be a second calendar in use as well, but we've kind of got the same calendar everywhere. You get into the 1800s and you have a bunch of different calendars. You get different countries converting to calendars, to the current calendars at different times. And uh, because of that, and honestly, I think the main reason is because of the data storage. They had to pick a starting date to set at 0. Uh, it doesn't really handle dates. So if you want to use dates older than 1900, you have to manually work with them. And I'm going to make a video on how to do that sometime here in the future. When I get that produced, I'll link it down here in the description as well. Uh, for now, anything from 1900 on, you're good. Anything before 1900, not going to work so well. Uh, so the other couple of videos I want to mention coming up in the very near future. I'll have a video on all of the time and all of the date calculation functions. So if you want to take a look at those, keep an eye out for those. Make sure you subscribe so you can see those. Okay, and that's about it for kind of tearing apart and putting back together the date and time values in Excel. If you learned anything from this, hopefully you did. If you learned anything, please hit like, and also be sure to subscribe and hit notify so you can see when I release new videos. I also have a Patreon page at patreon.com/data analysis excellence. It'd be great if you could help out the channel that way. And have a great day. I'll see you again soon.